All right. Merry Christmas. And I'm going to do a Christmas song today. I'm going to do it in three different styles. And I hope that one of these styles speaks to where you're at. Okay, so Silent Night, it's something that I've used for years when it comes to this time of the year with my students because it's such a nice, simple three chord progression and the melody is completely diatonic, as is the case with many Christmas songs. So diatonic means according to the scale. Okay, so if I were to read this in the octave that it's presented here, so you can sort of rushing through it. Okay. So that's the melody that you're all familiar with, and that's one of the reasons I use songs like this because they're somehow built into our genetic sonic minds, and so we don't have to spend a lot of time, learning the melody because it's already built in. Uh, the melody is clearly out of the C major scale. I'm doing a lot of stuff in C lately, but there's reason for that. Okay, and so the first thing we're going to do is play the melody in this position using the chords underneath it. So the trick really is to stop the pick where the melody is. I'll give you an example. The first note is right. So I'm stopping the pick where the melody is. I can't, I'm not doing that because it just confuses your mind, right? The melody is the point here. So okay, that's the first little bit. Now here's a G7 chord that you may not have used before, but it's just with a B in the bass. Right, and I just open that string up. Right, let's take it from the beginning. And then the G. I'm sort of keeping rhythm going at the same time, right? Okay, so that's the idea. There are other options. I'm making a very deliberate attempt to stay in open position here, right? Just with this simple open chords. I am changing the 5 chord, which is G, C, D, E, F, G. I'm changing that to a G7, which is very common to do, and it sounds. So these are two different versions of a G7, right? And simple changes, right? Everything falls right underneath your fingers. So you get the idea with that style. It's a great style because you can carry the melody and essentially you can play rhythm at the same time. It is a bit of a trick. You know, I've done it for a while, so it probably looks easier than it might be. I don't know, unless you know you may be a lot smarter than I am, so maybe not. And now let's take this melody up an octave. We take that G and we move it up an octave. And now we have but if for those of you who have been following my Triads program, we can do this in Triads. Right. And then we move up here to the G7 again. And then C. We can do this. There's always options here. I can go to different regions. And then that little F. And the G7. G7, G7. It's like an exercise in Triads. Right, so that's number 2. I'm just going to cover it a little bit again to give you a little bit of time to learn it. But the idea here is that you're working with your triads. If you haven't done triads, go through the triad work that we've done, that I've done in videos, you know, fairly recent videos, number, you know, triads on string set 1 and string set 2, right? And C to F, C to F to G. That'll help you tremendously in this style of playing. It's that first position style sort of keeps you going. I can sort of play a rhythm style at the same time, but when I just play triads, I can't really play a rhythm style. So it's a perfect style for playing with a rhythm guitar player. So if your rhythm guitar player is just right, and so on, and then you then you add the triad solo. Imagine that, right? And we have this G7. I'm going to slow this down. And then we go back to the C. You notice I'm using different inversions, right? I'm in the same place, but this all only works because the melody is always on top, right? And then I could do it other ways as well, but let's stick here. Sorry, I can't talk and play at the same time. And then up to the G7 again. And G7, G7, all inversions of the G7, and C, C, and then make it the 7th, and then C. You get the idea, right? Pretty, very triadic. and super useful to give you an idea of where your triads are up and down the fretboard while thinking melodically. Super important. I can't emphasize enough how important this is. So I think I'll end this video here, and then I'll go into a more complex arrangement of Silent Night in the next video that I'll do right after this, because I think we've got enough information there for now. So 2 different chord melody styles, and I'll do the 3rd style in the next video. Thanks for stopping by, and I really hope you have a Merry Christmas and you get something out of this. All right, see ya.